going to knock these out. 8.8, it says, in exercise 1-8, write a quadratic function in standard form that models the data. All right, I'm going to try to do the quick version here by showing the work instead of writing it all out. If there's anything that they don't spell out, I'll go ahead and fill it in. So first we're looking at the table here. We're going to notice that when x is at -1 and x is at 2, that y is at 0, right? Which means this is crossing x, right, at -1 and 2. I'm pretty sure we'll be able to use that. We'll probably have to turn this to a +1 and a -2 to make it work. So let's see. Here we go. The +1 and -2, just like I said, we're putting it in this form here, not the vertex form. We're putting the given slopes indicate the x-intercept are -1 and 2. That's what I said there. And so we'll use the intercept form to write the function, okay, not the vertex form. So intercept form is a times x minus p times x minus q. So negative p is going to turn this into a negative times a negative is a +1. Negative q, that positive times a negative would be a -2. Now that I've done this, I need to go ahead and find a point where I can use for x. And what I'm going to use is where x is, I'm going to use where x is 0, okay? And y is -4. So this means when I have this, I'm going to replace x with 0, I'm going to replace f of x, which is y, with -4, and that's what they've done over here. So now I've got, well, 0 plus 1 is 1, 0 minus 2 is -2, 1 times -2 is -2, and -2 times a is -2a. Now I'm going to go ahead and divide -2 away from -2a. Whatever I divide from one side, I do the other. -4 divided by -2 is 2. So a is going to be 2. Now we're going to replace a with 2. So our formula is going to be 2 times x plus 1 times x minus 2. And then they say or this. And all they did there, and I'm going to fill that in this one time here. I think you guys already know how to do this. We're going to have x plus 1 and x minus 2. So if I, well, let's just x plus 1 and x minus 2. That's going to give us 1 times -2 is -2. X times -2 is -2x. X, I'm going to put a 0 here. I'm going to put 1 times x. That's going to be a positive x, positive 1x. And then we're going to have x times x. That's x squared. Now this would come down to be -2. -2x plus 1x will be -x. And then this will remain x squared. Now we have to multiply everything here by that number 2 that we put in front. Remember, the 2 is in front over here. So when I do this, 2 times 2x squared will be 2x squared. 2 times -x would be -2x. And 2 times -2 would be -4. And as you can see, that's exactly what they got over here. All right, let's move on to number 3. Number 3, we have our table here. We're going to notice that we've got, goes from, it's increasing by, let's see, by 1. And looks to me like a quadratic equation. I see that there's a 5 where 2 is, and then there was a 5 where 4 is. So I'm thinking we're going to use those 2 there. We could also say, though, that the vertex was 3 and 8. So even better than that, I think we could safely say that we could use 3 and 8 and use the vertex form. And that's exactly what they did. The given points indicate the vertex is 3 and 8. So use the vertex form to write the function. We know that since x is 3, we're going to replace the number in front of x with the opposite, so -3. And then we're going to keep this, remember, it's because when we solve this, it'll be x minus 3 equals 0. That will turn out to a +3, right? But over here, we don't have an x with it, so we can keep this as a positive 8. Okay? So now we can solve this. We're going to look for where x is 0, and then we'll put 9 is negative 19. So we're going to make x 0, and f of x, which is y, will be 19. So now when we do this, we're going to have a 0 minus 3, well, that's negative 3. Negative 3 squared is 9, because a negative times a negative is a positive, and 3 times 3 is 9. And 9 times a will be 9a. The a comes down. Now we're going to subtract 8 from both sides. Negative 19 minus 8 will give us negative 27 equals 9a. Now I'm going to divide 9 away from both sides. And negative 27 divided by 9 is negative 3. So we know now that we're going to have to replace a with negative 3. So we're at negative 3 times x minus 3 squared plus 8. We're going to go ahead now and convert this to standard form. We're going to take x negative 3, right? And we're going to go ahead and say that we're going to have we're not showing you how to get this part, but I think it's pretty evident. We're taking x minus 3 and multiplying it to x minus 3. Okay? Negative 3 times negative 3 is a positive 9. Negative 3 times x is negative 3x. Put the 0 here. Negative 3 times x again is negative 3x. And x times x is x squared. We add these together, we're going to get x squared minus 6x plus 9. And that's exactly what they got right here. And from there you can figure out the rest. They multiplied negative 3 to all of these terms, and they got this new expression. And then they seen that there were like terms, negative 27 and positive 8. They combined them to get a negative 19. Everything else stayed the same. And then, so they know the function can be written as negative 3 times x minus 3 squared plus 8, or negative 3x squared plus 18x minus 19. All right, let's move on. Next we got number 5, right, as a quadratic equation. I'm going to use, the minute they give me the vertex, I know I'm going to use that form. And yeah, there it is. 3 and negative 2 are my vertex, so I know I can replace that with a negative 3, right? Because we're going to go the opposite of 3, which is a negative 3. And then keep our negative 2 because this is not being having any operation done to x, so it's just going to be negative 2. Well, now that we've done this, we're going to look for points, and the only point they gave us was 5 and 2. So when x is 5, y will be 2. So y will be 2, and x will be 5. 5 minus 3 is 2. 2 squared is 4. 4 times a is 4a. So now we have 4a minus 2. We're going to add 2 to both sides, and when I do, this is going to be 2 plus 2, which is 4. When I divide 4 from both sides, 4 divided by 4 is 1. And that means a is 1. So I never put 1 in front of anything, so it's going to remain x minus 3 squared minus 2. When we convert it to standard form, we'll take x minus 3 and multiply it to itself. Again, going to get x squared minus 6x plus 9. And then we're going to add the 9 minus 2, which gives us a positive 7. And so our function is f of x equals x minus 3 squared minus 2, or x squared minus 6x plus 7. All right? Let's go to number 7. Number 7, it doesn't give us a vertex, but it does give us 2 x-intercepts here. So we know we're going to use negative 5 and negative 2, which we're going to turn this to positive 5 and positive 2. All right? And so there you got positive 5 and positive 2 using my intercept form. Okay? Next, we're going to find a point that we can use. They give us the point negative 1 and 4 right here. So we're going to make, let's see, y is 4 and x is negative 1. Okay? And so replace x with negative 1. Negative 1 plus 5 is 4. Negative 1 plus 2 is 1. 4 times 1 is 4. 4 times a is 4a. When I divide 4 away from both sides, 4 divided by 4 is 1. So now we could say that replace this with, because it's 1, it's going to make it here. They didn't finish that off. It's going to just be this by itself. There's not going to be anything in front of it. And then you multiply this to this, which is going to give you this. All right? And you can see that x times x is x squared. 5 times 2 is 10. Then you're going to get 5x plus 2x, that's 7x. All right, let's go on to number 9. It says write a quadratic function in standard form whose graph is given these characteristics. Well, they gave us the vertex, so we're going to use the vertex form. This to make this a -1 and a +2, right? -1 or +2. We're replacing x with 3 and y with 10. 3 minus 1 is 2. 2 squared is 4. 4 times a is 4a. We're going to subtract 2 from both sides, which gives us an 8 over here. When I divide 4 away from 4a, I get 8 divided by 4, which is 2. So the quadratic function whose graph has a vertex of 1 and 2 and passes through 3, 10 is the function of x is 2 times, right? Replacing a with 2, 2 times x minus 1 squared plus 2, all right? Remember, we're replacing that, x minus 1 squared plus 2. We're replacing a with 2. All right? And then if I was to solve this out, I would end up getting this one here. Just for those that have trouble solving it out, since I've got a pretty short video going so far, I'll show you how to do that. If you have 2 times x minus 1 squared plus 2, that's going to give you, well, first you have to do your exponents. So 2 is going to stay here. You got x squared. And then -1, that's going to be a -1 again, right? Let's see here. And that +1. And there's well, this is -1. That whole term is there in the parentheses. So we would take -1 times -1. So I'm guessing that's going to be a positive 1 there. But I'm not wrong here. I'm going to add 2. Pretty sure I'm right. And then, see, we have to multiply these together. Let's see here. We're going to have, yeah, because that's right. Because you could look at it this way. If it was x minus 1 and then x minus 1 again, right? They're multiplied to each other. This would give me x times x is x squared. Then -1 times -1 is +1, right? And then, let's see, you would have 2, I guess that would be x at -2x. Okay, so let's see, when I do that, I've got my, kind of got the wrong thing there, multiply 2 over here, and then remember we're adding 2 at the end over here. So let's see, that's going to give us 2x squared, and 2 times -2x is -4x, and then 2 times 1 is 2, and then we're adding 2. Yeah, that's exactly how they did it. Please ignore what I did here. That I forgot about that middle term. I tried to apply it to both, but that was done incorrectly. So over here, you're going to have a 2 plus 2, and that's going to give us +4. And you have -4x, and then 2x squared here. So yeah, that's exactly how you do that one, because yeah, that's what they got. All right, let's get that one off the screen. And next should be number 11. They gave us the 2 points here, so we're going to do an intercept form. We're going to be taking this and turning it to +4. See, they got both 0 and 0 here. So I'm going to say we're going to take positive 4 and 0. And that's exactly what they got over here, positive 4. And remember, 0, x minus 0 is still x. So they just left it like this. In doing that, then we plug in this coordinate, this coordinate, a negative 2 and 8. So when x is negative 2, y will be 8. F of x is y, so that's 8. And then x is going to be negative 2. Right? So now we've got negative 2 times 4, that's negative 2 plus 4, that's going to be 2. And 2 times negative 2 is negative 4. Negative 4 times a is negative 4a. When I divide negative 4 away from both sides, I get a equals negative 2. So now we've got negative 2 times x plus 4 times x. And if we were to do all this, we'd see that negative 2 times x is negative 2x. And then we multiply it to x, so that would be negative 2x squared. Then we'd have negative 2 times 4, which is negative 8, and then we multiply that to x, so that would be negative 8x. And that's why they got the function of x could also be equal to negative 2x squared minus 8x. All right, last is number 13. The portion of the roller coaster track is a shape in the shape of a parabola. All right, write the graph of a quadratic function that models this portion of the roller coaster with a maximum height of 90 feet represented by the vertex. So they gave us the vertex here, and it's passing through here. So that tells me right there, we're going to use the vertex form. X will be turned to negative 25, and then it'll be plus 90 at the end. So here's the negative 25, replacing, I'm sorry, it should have been h, not x. And then k will be 90. So now we're going to go ahead and say we've got, we're going to use 50 and 0 here because it passes through there. So when x is 50, y will be 0. F of x is y, so that's 0. X is now 50. 50 minus 25 is 25. 25 squared is 625. So now we're going to subtract 90 from both sides. That gives us negative 90 equals 625a. We're going to divide 625 from both sides, and you can reduce negative 90 over 625 to negative 18 over 125. So we'll have negative 18 over 125 times x plus or x minus 25 squared plus 90. That models this portion of the roller coaster. So you can plot the vertex at 25 and 90, and because h is 25, the axis of symmetry is going to be 25. Okay? Next, let's see. We're going to have to take a number. We're going to just find a number in between. This was in between here, right? 25 and 50, and they picked 37.5. So they pick the number right in between. So when they take that number and subtract it from 25, they get, and remember, this is just claiming what x is, right? 37.5 is about right here, right? So we should get something really close to like 60, I don't know, 3 or so. We'll find out in a second. We subtract that, we'll get 12.5 squared. 12.5 squared is 156.25. When we multiply that to negative 18 over 125, we get negative 22.5. We're adding that to 90, and when we do, that's going to give us 67.5. Is that what I said here? Let's see. 60, I guess it was more about here. So you're saying it should be about right there, 67.5. So, we plot 50 and 0 and 37.5 x and 67.5, and the reflection point then is going to be 12.5 and 67.5, opposite side over here. So that's how you got your graph. That was the last one for me. You got the rest of them. Good luck, and I'll see you in class for grading.